Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're listening to this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. That group was put together specifically for our coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7-figure level. So if that's you, definitely come check us out. Now, today, I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Nina Hershberger. Welcome, Nina.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So, Nina, tell myself and the rest of our community, what is it that you do?
Well, you know what? I help business owners, particularly during this pandemic, who've been a little scared how to find $100,000 sitting in their business without spending a dime. And I have a lot of people who'd like to have that happen.
Awesome.
So I'm looking for $1 million businesses. So I can't do that if you're a $50,000 business, but if you're a high-end business, I can do that. I can easily find 10,000 in any business, though.
Mm-hmm. Love it, love it. So, what got you down this path? How did you get started on this journey?
You know, that's an interesting question. So, my mom and dad tell the story about when I was young. I wanted to go door to door selling rusty bobby pins. You probably don't know what that was because women don't wear bobby pins anymore, but it kind of went into your hair and stuff. Of course, they said no, but I was an entrepreneur from a very early age. I did go door to door selling Avon, door to door selling Christmas cards. Now people don't even send Christmas cards because we're all on social media. And I did door to door. Well, I had a paper route. So very early, I was into marketing. And so it was a passion of mine. But it was in 1994 that I met a guy by the name of Dan Kennedy. I think you know who Dan Kennedy is, most of us do. Yes. And he's the one who turned my thoughts upside down. And I realized that direct response marketing was what I really wanted to do. So I've been working with business owners ever since and helping them grow.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that. So fascinating. And Dan Kennedy, he is definitely a name that comes up quite a lot, right? Yeah.
The funny part about it is I don't think I've ever told this story. One day I got a call from Dan, and he said, "Nina," I said, "Yeah, this is Dan Kennedy," and I'm thinking, "Gulp, what did I do?" He said, "I want to hire you to do copywriting for me." I said, "Okay," and he said, "I'll send you a check." He says, "But here's the role," and he told me what industry he wanted me to do and the project it was. He said, "But you can't call me. So don't ask any questions and don't call." So I said, "Okay." So that was a fun call.
Yeah, that was interesting. So he said, "Don't call him." Yeah, awesome. Love it, love it. Okay, good. So in essence, so based on where you are in your business and what you got going on, what's that vision that you're building towards at the moment?
So really and truly, particularly during this pandemic, so I wrote a book, How to Find $10,000 Sitting in Your Business. It's actually, I like to brand things, so it's called my 30-minute marketing. I just did 3 calls this last week for businesses. Now, if they're over $1 million, I can find 100,000 easily. So that's my mission, is to really help. Let me give you an example. Here's what's really hurt me during this whole COVID thing is that so many businesses are going to go out of business because they did not understand the fundamentals, and the fundamentals have not changed, whether it was 1994 when I met Dan or whether it's today in 2020, doesn't matter. Fundamentals are fundamentals, and they didn't have the fundamentals in place. And so oftentimes what I do is I work with them. Let's get the fundamentals. Let me give you an example. Restaurant. They thought they were in the making food business. They never realized they were in the marketing business. So they didn't have a list. So when everything shut down, they couldn't even communicate to the people who had come to their restaurant. They didn't know they had curbside pickup. They didn't know that they could have done anything. And so a list is one of the fundamentals. And there's a lot of them. Actually, in this book, I talk about 8 different fundamentals that everybody has to have. It doesn't matter what size business you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so awesome. And I love what you said as far as some fundamentals never change, right? Most people try to look for the new shiny techniques and shiny marketing things or whatever, but when it comes down to it, as you said, from 993, 994 to today, it's always the same, right?
It is. Let me give you an example. You know, right now the shiny object is to do Facebook ads, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they're bad. It's a really good thing to do. But of those of you who are about as old as I am can remember back years ago when fax was a big deal. And so if you wanted to reach out to another business or somebody, you would fax them an offer. And then all of a sudden, overnight, fax was gone. So if you depend only on Facebook ads or Google pay-per-click or any of those things, but you've never developed your own list, whether that's an email list or a physical, hard, you know, in the mailbox kind of list, you are vulnerable for any of those kind of changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so powerful, so powerful. And that's definitely one of the things I'm happy I learned early on as well too. Because when I first started my business, I knew that I wasn't really sure what I was going to be selling, but I knew that the core, what really matters were who am I going to be selling to? And when the time did come for me to be able to reach out, do I have a streamlined way of reaching out to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it, love it. So what do you see? So I know you mentioned email lists. So you realize some type of list is pretty important as far as fundamentals, right? Are there any other fundamentals you see that the core as well?
Absolutely. So every business, again, I'm giving Dan Kennedy full credit for this because this was a thing I learned early on as well.
Mm-hmm.
High ticket, low offer, low cost to provide offer. So in other words, he would always say, every business, I don't care what it is, should have seg of something. Now we would all say, yeah, but nobody's going to buy it. Well, they're not going to buy it if you don't have it. And so you always do something. So that's another thing I like to go in when I'm coaching a business is what high ticket item can we identify in their business that they can name. That's another secret. Name everything. So I just told you a few minutes ago, 30-minute marketing. That $100,000 I found, it was over 100. It was about one guy was 134,000. Another one was 264,000. I did it in 24 minutes. It's not hard. And that was not even doing a high ticket thing. So the power of very small things. What is it? Small hinges move big doors. And so just small incremental things and the fundamentals will literally transform a business.
Mm-hmm. Powerful stuff. Love that. Love that. And I love the concept of naming things, right? Because it's one of those places where a name, it sounds like it's whatever. But when you really think about the power of naming something, especially if you're able to name it the thing that the other person is already looking for, and I think that just sounds so compelling, just like it changes the game for everyone, right?
Well, then you can't have, an apple to apple comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you another example. A friend of mine is a chiropractor up in Wisconsin. He has a high ticket thing. He calls it the Royal treatment. Now you can't Google Royal chiropractic treatment and find anything.
Yeah.
And so he stands alone.
Yeah.
And that's another secret for any business. Have things you name.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Love it. So what, in terms of businesses you work with, I know you said they have to be at a certain revenue level as well too, but what about types of businesses? Do you work with a wide range of different types?
It's a good question. A lot of people will niche to a vertical. I do have a lot of professionals, dentists, chiropractors, that kind of stuff. But quite honestly, fundamentals are anything. So I really do work with any businesses. It's just that my criteria is that because of the time constraints that I've got, I need to have $1 million or more. And they need to be at a certain level. The second criteria is they have to know their numbers, because there's going to be three things I'm going to ask them right up front. What is your gross annual revenue? What is your gross profit margin in a percentage? And what is your net profit margin? So with those three pieces of information, we can literally do a roadmap of where to go and how to increase their business.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. So, and you said, so did you start off as a copywriter? Is copywriting, are you still copywriting? Tell me about that.
Well, you know what? You always have to write. Do I bill myself as a copywriter? Absolutely not. Because I work with clients, and if they need copy and I fit that, because if you look, let me move my camera right here. See right there, that all those books, those are books that I've done for clients. And some of them I've written. I have books that I call my Ask the Expert book. So like this little book, powerful, only 56 pages. This book is called a lead generation book. Instead of you telling over and over and over the exact same things, I put it into a book. So yes, I would write that, but I would not bill myself as a copywriter. I bill myself as a marketer who's going to help you grow your business.
So wait, let me see your wall again back there. Are those is that like just you put them up there or what?
Yeah.
That is some stuff. That's a lot of books. Did you write all of those?
I either wrote them, or a lot of times what I do is I license content. So we write it once and we license it. So for instance, I have a book, what every person needs to know about dental implants. Area exclusive license that book. So I don't have to write it over and over, but it's still very powerful for any dentist in an area. Let me tell you a story again about Dan Kennedy. A couple of years ago, I was privileged to be one of the few people that got to go to his basement and spend 2 days with him. And if you ever got that privilege, you go down and Dan surrounds himself. I'm looking at behind you. You've got all these books. You've got things that remind you when you were in the military. Dan's basement is literally filled with reminders. And so that's why those book covers are on the back of my wall, is it's the reminders and that connection of, where we've been, what we've done, and who we've helped.
Love that powerful stuff. I love it, Nina. Awesome. So what would you say is one skill you've really practiced that's helped you get to your level of success today?
Never giving up and consistency over time. See, that's what I often find people say, well, if they tried something and it didn't work, oh, well, I'm going to give up. It doesn't work. Well, I might take just a tweak. Again, back to that friend of mine who's a chiropractor in Wisconsin. His theory is he uses one roll of stamps, 100 stamps, and he will mail something out. It's an offer or something. If he doesn't get the response he's looking for, they'll start making a few calls and asking questions, but then he tweaks it. So never think that you're going to get a home run, first time out. If you get a home run, good. But, we're looking for base hits. We're looking for learning, that kind of stuff. So that's a very important thing to learn.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. Love that. What about habits, right? What's one habit you'd say you've practiced that's really helped you achieve what you've achieved today?
Consistency over time and focus. See, I don't say I'm everything to everybody. Could possibly do that. I am fortunate to have a good team of people because I'm an implementer. Any idea that's never, followed through and never done certainly is just an idea, but it never happens. So consistency over time. Number one, though, is you got to be an author. You have to have a book, because the moment you turn into, you become a book author, then that's a game changer. But that's it. Consistency over time. I've talked about that over and over, using the fundamentals.
And why do you think becoming an author is so important?
Because it gives you authority. So when I can find $10,000 sitting in any business without spending a dime, and even if they don't read that book, that gives me a certain authority. And it's not an ebook. Remember, this is a real book that I'm holding. Here was the first 30-minute marketing I did. This is 101 marketing ways to wow your clients, customers, and patients in less than 30 minutes. Super easy read. Again, it gives you that authority. Let me show you this small little book. This is an orthodontist up in Washington. And I said to him, okay, what is your high ticket item that you make the most profit on and that you want to get more of? And it was kids' braces. I said, okay, we're going to, do you get the same questions over and over and over? Yes, I do. I said, let's put it into an Ask the Expert book. So it's one question, one answer, one question, one answer. Some of the members that might be listening to this might remember Mike Koenig's from years ago. He had what was called Traffic Geyser. And Mike had a famous, 10-10-4. So 10 questions that they do ask, 10 questions they should ask, and the 4 closing questions. So all I've done is kind of put it into a little book formula. And so we have that same kind of concept.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Goodness, you're just a wealth of wisdom right there, huh?
It's because I'm old.
Love it. Awesome. Now, what about influencers, right? So I know you said Dan Kennedy. How do you get your updated current information? Do you listen to podcasts? Are you a big reader? How do you get information?
Yeah, I have a big library. I mean, I don't have mine like you've got behind you. That's really great. Yeah, reading. You know what? Just talking to people, but talk to the right people. Don't talk to the naysayers. Don't talk to the negatives. Talk to the people. In the last few months, what I particularly have done is interview a lot of people myself, and I'm saying, tell me the stories of what's working, what businesses are thriving, and there are. I just heard the other day, there was a gal who has a dog grooming business. She had to hire 2 extra people because she can't keep up. Why is that? People are home, they're buying dogs. So you gotta go where the flow is. You gotta pay attention. You gotta understand. Here's another thing I'll say: if all I do is listen to whatever's in my own head, I wouldn't do it. Nothing would come out. I don't have any new ideas. I spend time with you. I spend time with other people smart like you, and I learn and I listen and I watch and I read. I hardly ever watch television. I can't tell you I am a home and garden television. I love that because I love decorating, but otherwise I haven't watched another television program and I can't even tell you when.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got you. And you have your own podcast, right? What's the name of your podcast?
I do. It's Business Innovators Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to businessprofitplaybook.com, you're going to see at the very top, there's going to be a little podcast link. And and you're on there. It'll take to the interview I did with you. So, and with a lot of other very smart people.
Awesome, love it. Now, what about time off? What do you do for time off? Are you someone who's always working, or do you have hobbies that you participate in? How are you spending your time?
Oh no, I have gotten a new hobby, and it's become an addiction. I admit, I love decorating, and so we built a house a year and a half ago. And I found this new addiction. It's called tablescaping. So I have this. We have an Amish built round table, and I'm always setting the table. I'm going to Goodwill looking for 35-cent plates, or I have 18 sets of silverware. Mm-hmm. So I'm always 2 or 3 times a week. I'm just changing the table. And here's another lesson. Remember when it used to be, whatever hobby you had, there was a magazine for it. Now there's no magazine. I'll tell you, there is a Facebook group for everything. Who would have ever thought tablescaping? I belong to one Facebook group. There's 25,000 of us in that Facebook group. So that's my hobby.
Yeah, awesome, love it. And it's just so interesting and that's exactly how, even for myself as well. So whenever I'm trying to figure something out, the first thing I do is say, I wonder if there's a Facebook group for that. And 9 times out of 10, there's always a Facebook group, right? Yeah.
Now the smart thing is at 25,000, if they had learned to monetize that.
Yeah.
If you got 25,000, there's some money sitting there, but I'm not going down that road.
Exactly. And I think I saw one of your videos on Facebook where you were showing off your garden. You have a garden, right?
I did at the house that I was before. Yeah, we were in garden walks and historic walks, and because we had a historic home, 1927 built. Mm-hmm. We have a new house now, but we're working on the gardens.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Okay, good. So now tell me something, right? What's your why? I know Simon Sinek, he always saws help with lead with your why. So what's your why behind why you continue doing what you do?
I have a nice life. I have a very, very comfortable life. I've been married, this 2020, I will be married 48 years this year. So I have a wonderful husband, wonderful children and grandchildren, but my why is I want to see people succeed in their business. I don't want them, because, finances can be the worst thing for a marriage, can be the worst thing for, a family. And so if I can affect that, that's my why.
Hmm. Awesome. Love that. Love that. Thank you, Nina. Thank you so much for sharing that stuff. So the
Yeah.
question now becomes, if someone wanted to connect and reach out, what's the best way for them to be able to do so?
You know what? The best way is to send me an email. And so they can send it to me at Nina, N-I-N-A, at businessprofitplaybook.com. Businessprofitplaybook.com. And you know what, Exus? I've got a free gift if they send me an email. I created this just in the last few weeks, preparing to grow checklist. It's a little 2-page checklist. It's a little self-assessment. No, I don't have it on my website where you can put it in. You're going to go into my email system. You're going to have to send me a separate email and say, send me the checklist. But there's, this really should help a lot of people get to know how are the fundamentals. Are they getting them right?
Hmm. Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Nina. And guys, if you listen to this interview, either on the live or the replay, the links to connect with Nina and to get connected with by email, they will be either above or below the videos. So you can copy them, click on them, and get connected right to her. She's definitely an expert and definitely amazing at what she does. So if you haven't connected yet, be sure to do so. So again, Nina, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Now, do you have any final thoughts before we end?
It's my pleasure, and anything I can do for somebody, I really, really encourage them to get that checklist. I'm not going to put you on my list unless you want to. If you say you want to, of course I will, but it's really my gift to you. So I'm honored to be here. You're such an inspiration to me and to everybody else that listens to these. I mean, where you've come from to where you are now, it's amazing, and I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nina. And we'll talk soon, okay?
All righty. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Have a good one. Bye.